course I do.
Are you doing your stuff?
Badly.
Oy vey. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask Dad.
Yes.
This is a dad show.
Welcome.
He's doing his Snape
Poorly.
impersonation.
Very poorly.
I'm sorry, but Alan Rickman, nobody can do Alan Rickman but Alan Rickman.
Well, you can't do it anymore.
I loved him.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Welcome, our listeners, to Ask Dad, a dad show that's not just for dads, but for everyone that wants fatherly advice from a real dad. Whether you're here for the bad dad joke or to gain some insight, I had to pause so I could make sure I pronounced it properly. Little alliteration there. Whether you're here for the bad dad joke or to gain some insight, Will Snow is the man, the myth, and the legend. And of course, it's all in his own mind. He knows all things. So everyone, please welcome to today's episode of Ask Dad. Is that that? Yeah, woohoo! Yes, you're amazing. Wow.
Yes. Pronounce it properly, Potter.
All right, enough.
Okay,
Enough.
All right. I've been torturing her with this all day.
All day. Oh my God. I have a bad dad joke.
Yes, I'd love to hear your bad dad
Would you
joke.
like to hear the bad dad joke?
Yes.
Okay. Where do penguins go to vote?
I do not know. Where do penguins go to vote?
The North Pole.
And in this political climate, see, that's a good one. See,
Isn't it?
very well done. And
Thank
I
you.
actually have one as well.
Oh,
And
indeed.
yeah, see, the past, the present, and the future walked into a bar. It was tense. Okay. Never mind. Wait
Oh
a second.
my God, where's the sad? This is the sad.
Okay.
I think my bad dad jokes are better than your bad.
Well, they
dad
are.
jokes.
They are. Which is ironic if you think about it.
Is
It's
it
ironic.
ironic?
Yes.
Now that song's in my head. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Nobody wants me to sing, and I am okay with that, and I recognize it, and I accept it in myself that I do not have a good vocal voice.
I saw the most incredible show the other day where these people were singing to get a clue. I won't name it, but
Oh, my favorite show.
and they were, oh my God, they were singing so badly. I was crying
So
and laughing.
poorly. It was
It was
fantastic.
great. It was
and
awesome.
it
But I
was
love the enthusiasm. But it was
But what was
really-
even better is as poorly as they sang, they were still better than I could have been.
And and isn't that a thing?
And you also get to the point in your life, the age in your life that you just don't care.
Well, it's true, and oftentimes I sing in the shower. Did you know that? I sing in the shower, but then you know what happens when I get suds in my mouth?
Go on.
It becomes a soap opera.
Oh, God.
God, you got an extra one today.
God. Oh, my God. Oy, God. Okay.
No, but I do love that show. That's really absolutely.
It is one of my favorite shows. My mom and I will watch it together incessantly.
Yeah, it's
years.
it's something. It's something about the human drama.
Yeah.
But also the place they go to all these really cool places, which I think is really cool. I like that. That is really neat.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So what's the topic of the day? I actually, speaking of TV shows, I'm going to interject here.
Okay.
I was watching a TV show the other day, and the main character was a massive narcissist, one of the biggest narcissists. It was just, and it triggered something in me to the point that I was like having anxiety. I couldn't breathe. I didn't sleep well that night. It was uncanny, just freaking narcissists.
Yeah. Well, and they're
Relationships,
right? So, look, this is an interesting topic actually, because I think after a certain point in time, and you've been through a number of different relationships, you come to find that there are certain people that are narcissists, right? And the first time you go through it, it's a trip, Because, I think in general, when you're in a relationship and you're physically attracted and you're emotionally attracted to somebody and you want them to like you, so you have a tendency to want to please them.
Yep.
And so then that's where you start, looking, because you want to please, you want to, you start putting your own needs aside, and then you open yourself up for manipulation. And, there are some people that are, as much as I hate to say it, they're very manipulative. They're very, they want what they want out of the relationship. Yeah. But in general, what they don't want is, or don't care about, is whether or not, what you're feeling in that relationship. So then it becomes kind of like this one-way street. You're giving, you're giving, you're giving, you're giving, you're giving, and the next thing you know, you're at a place and doing things and experiencing things that were never anything you wanted in the first place.
Right.
And then, you get this concept. This is one of my favorite concepts. It's a business concept I'm going to apply. It applies to a lot of things. It's called the sunk cost. It's an accounting term.
Okay.
I have been in this relationship, and I have put so much time and so much energy into it, and I'm not getting the return I want. But if I keep doing it, if I keep putting time and energy into this relationship, then what's going to happen is eventually there's going to be some sort of return. And people do this not just in personal relationships, they do this in business relationships all of the time. And so you've got to understand that there is this concept of sunk costs. Yeah. Which is to say, you've spent, for example, your company, and you've invested all of this money in a technology to produce a product that you're going to put out to the world and make a lot of money. Just kind of basics. Somewhere along the lines, the market decides that they want that product, or something better comes along, or a new technology comes along. Now, you've spent all of this money.
Right.
You've invested all of this time. And, you're not going to get any return. So the natural reaction for most people and most organizations as well is to double down.
Right.
I hate that term, by the way. Double down. I'm going to double down on this. He doubled down on that. Basically what that is about is essentially throwing good money after bad. Yep. It's more time, which, really, if you think about it, the most precious commodity that we have in life is time.
Absolutely.
And, to throw more time, more energy, more love, more everything. It's a sunk cost. You're not going to get it back. And all you're really doing is continuing to sink more cost into something that's never going to, yield a return. And this happens in relationships, and it's really interesting when it does, because, you just, then you start blaming yourself and say, well, I'm not giving enough.
Right.
I'm not giving enough. And so it's just so important, listeners, so tremendously important in your life to create healthy boundaries, to establish healthy boundaries in your life, not just in your personal relationships, in your family relationships as well.
Oh, yeah.
So many negative dynamics in family relationships. You've got to establish your own personal boundaries and be aware of them. Don't apologize for them. Don't feel negative about yourself because you've established these boundaries. You have to do this in life. And when you do, and you see somebody that is, pushing on those boundaries or beyond those boundaries consistently, once in a while, that can happen. But when you start seeing it consistently, then you're in an unhealthy relationship, whether that's a professional relationship or a personal relationship or a family relationship. Right. The relationship is unhealthy for you. And that's all that you need to know. You don't need to question yourself about it.
Yep.
You don't even need to blame them. You just need to leave.
Yeah.
That's just stop throwing good money after bad. Stop. You have to stop yourself. You have to respect your own boundaries. And I will also say this, that people that don't have boundaries, that you do meet. They're just so giving. Yeah, oh yeah, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. They have no boundaries whatsoever. Are not safe.
They're not.
They're not safe.
And they're also not happy.
Right.
On the outside, they seem happy, but
Right.
deep down,
yeah,
they struggle.
So this is something, like I said, that's, you got to be aware of it. And there are people out there that are narcissistic. Got to know it. They manage to turn everything towards themselves. I mean, we see it a lot. We certainly see it every day in the news, right?
Yeah.
But it happens. There's also people that are psychopathic, that are really, those people, I think, mean to do harm to others.
Yeah.
And that's kind of but again, just be aware of what you're looking at. But I'm sorry. That's a very interesting topic, though. Very interesting topic.
It is. It really is. And it's also interesting that these narcissistic personalities on the outside, everybody thinks that they're the most wonderful people because they're so dynamic and so giving, but it's what goes on behind the closed doors within the dynamics of that specific relationship, and it is so challenging.
Well, it can be very damaging.
Very, very much so. I mean, it is such a long learning lesson, and I like you said that phrase, sunk cost, was it? That's amazing, because it's in the relationships specifically, the cost is your time.
And again, and something that we tend to devalue, I think, or think, ironically, that this is, the least valuable, resource. It's just time. I just threw a little time. Time is that's it. This is it. You have a certain amount of time. You don't even know how much time you have.
Right.
So, this is your most precious asset. So when you're giving people your time, what you're really doing is you're giving them your most important asset. Like right now, I'm giving our listeners my time.
Yeah.
And they're giving me their time by listening to us. And so this is a very precious relationship. This is why we respect and love you so much. We appreciate all your questions. And do we have any on tap today?
We do, actually, we have so many questions, but this one question from Bridget in Seattle, this actually is kind of on topic with what we've been talking about. All right, so first of all, Bridget, thank you for writing in. We appreciate you. Bridget says, I have lived with my partner for the past 2 years, and everything has been amazing. Our communication is terrific. We enjoy exploring things together. We are financially stable. Our sex life is amazing.
Yay. Wait a
Bridge.
second.
Woo, yes to that. Thank you. All right, you got to press it again. All right. The problem is that there are times when I see or hear something that reminds me of a person from a previous unhealthy and damaging relationship. And in those moments, I find myself feeling unhappy and defensive for no logical reason. It takes me out of the moment. I'm not sure how to get past this. I'm angry with myself. I'm frightened. I'm going to ruin my current relationship. So how should I handle this the next time it happens? That is an amazing question.
Really
Wow.
Phenomenal question. And honest, wow, really, Bridget.
Wow.
Well, first off, Bridget, congratulations. It's amazing and incredible that you have gone beyond a previously unhealthy relationship and are now feeling open enough to be in a very healthy relationship. And I wish you and your partner all the best going forward.
Yes.
So first things first. That's something to be very proud of. It's a lot of personal development to get there. But, the reality of it is sometimes we are imprinted with, situations that, can be triggered by, by smell, by sound, by certain action. And it can definitely trigger a negative reaction, and it can take you really out of your joy. And so the question is, what do I do next time this happens? Well, I would suggest before it happens, I would have a conversation. You say you have good communication with your partner.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that, I'm not saying that you haven't had conversations before about previous relationships, but if you haven't, this would be a really good time to start having that
Yeah,
conversation and talking about some of the damage that was done. And if your partner is as, empathetic as they sound, then they will actually be very happy to hear about what's going on and, behind your eyes. And you'll, I think, first of all, don't be embarrassed by it. These things happen, right? As communication is absolutely the key in in any relationship to, so that people understand where you're coming from. Okay, so there's no assumptions being made here, and because people do have a tendency to blame themselves when they're seeing their partner react in a certain way. They're going, "What did I do wrong?"
Yeah.
No, really, you didn't do anything wrong. This is something from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So usually the best course of action is just to talk about it first and say, okay, and again, I always suggest talking about situations, before they happen, as opposed to in the middle of it when you're emotionally engaged. But the other thing I think to remember is, you yourself have the opportunity to stop. You can stop the flow of negative thought processes just simply by removing yourself from the situation for a second, taking a breath, and and thinking it through. It's not entirely impossible to do that. Another thing that I might suggest is that you forgive yourself. Okay, I don't.
Yeah, first and foremost.
Don't feel like you're any less than because you've been impacted by a negative experience that's really been damaging, that you don't think about it from time to time. Just because you're into a new relationship, just because you're into a great relationship, doesn't mean that stuff doesn't creep up on occasion, and you got to work through it. So it seems to me that it is possible as well that you might not be entirely over the situation that happened. And so, that might be, that you might not have, regained your energetic balance. And so, it might be worthwhile to talk to a couples therapist about it. Maybe it's, maybe you feel it's too dangerous to talk to the individual, that you don't want to ruin anything, and you're afraid of that. Get a third party involved, a relationship, a couples therapist, so that you can talk about these issues in an open and in a safe environment.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think to be honest, I think the fact that you're self-aware of it, that you recognize what's happening, you're already doing so great. You're doing so great. I'm so proud of you. I really am. I mean, it's wonderful. And you've been able to move your life past that point and into a beautiful space. And I think you're going to continue to thrive. And I think you're going to continue to be in that beautiful space and that relationship. And it's gonna be the better for it. It really is. Don't be afraid. Okay, remember, we talked earlier about the concept of how we make decisions. Do we make decisions out of fear? Do we make decisions out of love? So when you're making decisions out of fear, they generally tend not to work too well.
True.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so make the loving decision towards you and your partner and talk about it, whether either directly or through a third party in a safe environment. But I wish you all of the best going forward, and thank you so much for writing in. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, Bridget. Thank you so much. And if I could just add one thing, which I believe you probably already covered, just to emphasize, is that when you communicate, don't assume, because your partner can't read your mind, so they have no idea that you're struggling internally over something unless you actually voice it. So, but like you said, your communication, you said, has been, terrific.
Yeah. I mean, don't be embarrassed. Forgive yourself for it and just move forward and understand that they probably have gone through similar situations themselves, like we all have. I mean, everybody has gone through these situations. Everybody, even the people that I've known that have had the most significantly clear boundaries in the world have found themselves in relationships where they're suddenly adrift and have to figure out what happened. It happens. It's
does.
just people.
Bridget, thank you so, so much. I appreciate the question, and I'm sure our listeners also appreciate the question. So thank you for having the courage to send that in.
Yes.
And to our listeners, thank you all for tuning in to Ask Dad. It's the show of fatherly advice for all with a smattering of bad dad jokes. I think we had 3 bad dad jokes today.
Yeah.
All right, 3 times the charm.
That's right.
Remember, listeners, the love is real and the man is real. So we will see you next time. Until then, please continue to send us your dad jokes and questions to will@IWillAskDad so we can talk about it all. We can talk about the good, the bad, and the dad.